Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty ridiculous one, pretty funny one, and crazy. I think you guys would enjoy it. Now, this story time involves an old girlfriend of mine. Now, she wasn't some crazy ex. This isn't one of those crazy ex story times that you might be expecting. But not specifically my ex this story time involves. It more involves her mom. And I've told story times about exes' moms before and how they've been kind of, ridiculous. But this one I think is definitely in the top three. And I thought you guys would enjoy it. So leave a like in the video if you do enjoy it. And let's jump into this. So this story time all takes place when I was 17 years old. I remember specifically this was like 2 days before I turned 18. So this was 2 days before my birthday. It was October 24th. I was sitting at my girlfriend's house at the time. Now, at this time, I had left school. YouTube was going very well for me, and I was able to leave school and pursue YouTube full time. So I wasn't in school at this point, and I was just kind of sitting at my girlfriend's house, enjoying the night. And her parents let me stay the night that night, which was honestly kind of surprising because I didn't think her parents liked me that much, but they were cool enough to let me stay the night. So I was cool with that. Their only condition is that I stayed in the basement. And it's not like they were making me stay in a dungeon or some shit. They had a very nice finished basement, so I was actually fine with that. So yeah, that's what happened. Fast forward to about 1 in the morning. It was time to go to sleep. Her parents were going to bed. I was going to bed. So I went downstairs to the basement and laid down with a blanket and started watching some TV down there. Now, I was up for like 2 hours straight after this. I don't go to bed very early, so I was up till like 3 a.m. just watching Netflix. And then all of a sudden, at like 3:30, I hear the basement door creak open real quietly, and I immediately start freaking out, right? Like, I'm about to shit myself at this point. I'm like, yo, who the hell is coming down here right now? It's 3:30 a.m. Why'd the basement door just open super slowly? Because every time me and my girl would go to the basement and we wanted the door to not be super loud, because it was a very loud door, we would close it really fast, because that way it wouldn't creak and take forever to stop being loud. But this person, whoever it was, opened the door super slowly. And when you open it slowly, it makes the fucking loudest noise on planet Earth. It's so loud. It's just a loud-ass screeching door sound. So I'm freaking out. I start hearing footsteps coming down the stairs, and I'm just freaking out. I'm like, yo, who is this? Please be my girlfriend. Like, please be someone that's not going to kill me. And it's really dark. All I have is the light from the TV, which wasn't very bright. And I see this silhouette of a person wearing a nightgown coming down the stairs. And I am terrified at this point because the silhouette of this person's body is not the same as my girlfriend's. Like, I did not know who this was. It was not my girlfriend. So I'm freaking out. I don't know who this is. And then they flip the light switch, and I immediately see who it is. It's my girlfriend's mom in a nightgown. And I'm like, oh, it's you. Like, you scared the shit out of me. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she starts giggling super hard, like just laughing her ass off. And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, like, I'm fine. I just want to ask you something. I was like, what's up? What is it? And she's like, you want to have some fun? And that can mean a million different things in her language. So I'm like, what do you mean? And she takes out this little like container and opens it and shows me these like tiny, little pieces of like paper, it looks like. And I immediately knew what it was. I didn't even have to look at it for more than a second to know what it was. She had acid, and not just a little bit. It was quite a few tabs of that shit. And I was like, is that acid? And she goes, yup, and she starts giggling. And I was like, you do acid? And she's like, sometimes, at night. And I was like, wait a second. Are you offering me acid? And she's like, yup, and she starts laughing her ass off. Like, I could tell she was already high out of her mind. And I was like, hey, listen, I appreciate the offer, but if I do that, I'm not going to sleep at all tonight. And then tomorrow morning, when I come upstairs for breakfast, my eyes are going to be all red from not sleeping, and I'm just going to look like an absolute fucking psychopath. So I don't think that's a very good idea. And she goes, oh, come on, like, you'll be fine. I'm like, no, I don't think I will. And she goes, oh, no, it's not that strong, trust me. Now, based on how she was acting, I could tell that it was some pretty strong shit. So I was like, no, I'm sorry, like, I can't. And she goes, oh, okay, whatever. And she gets up to turn around and walk away, and right as she's about to walk up the stairs, I hear more footsteps coming downstairs. And it's her fucking husband. And he's like, what are you doing down here talking to Austin so late? Like, what's going on? And she's laughing her ass off. She can't even get one word out. She's laughing so hard. And it's like he was there the whole time because he just already knew everything that happened. He was like, you're on acid, aren't you? And she's like, yup. And she starts laughing even harder. And he goes, Austin, what is she doing down here? And I was like, I don't know, man. She came down here and like offered me to do some with her. I said no, obviously, because, I'm 17 and also couldn't handle that shit for the life of me. So I said no. And that was it. And he's like, you offered Austin LSD? And she's like, yup. And she starts laughing even harder. And he's like, he's 17. What are you thinking? That's your daughter's boyfriend. Are you trying to ruin our lives? And she's like, no. And she starts kind of getting sad. He's like, come up with me, we're going upstairs. And he grabs her by the arm and takes her upstairs, like she was a fucking child disobeying him. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck just happened? Am I living in a simulation at this point? So I lay down, and within 15 minutes, I somehow fall asleep. And I wake up the next morning thinking that everything that just happened was a dream. Like, not even kidding. I genuinely was like, yo, that couldn't have been real. Like, I don't know what happened, but that just could not have been real. Like, don't get me wrong. Half of me was like, yeah, that was real. But then there was that other half that was like, no, there's no way. Like, I was dreaming or some shit. I must have been sleep deprived as a motherfucker. So I go upstairs and I sit down at the breakfast table, and her mom is wearing the same robe that she was that night that I talked to her. So I'm like, okay, maybe that wasn't a dream. And then I look at her dad, and her dad's looking at me, looking real, just like nervous, and at the same time kind of disappointed. And I'm like, oh man, this is awkward. That's all I was thinking to myself. So we eat breakfast, and me and my girlfriend could kind of feel the awkward energy in the room. And she didn't even know what happened the night before. Like, she just had no idea. So anyway, my girlfriend could kind of tell that this shit was just awkward. So she gets up, and she's like, hey, can I be excused? And her dad's like, yeah, sure. And then I get up with her, assuming that it'd be okay. And her dad goes, wait, Austin, can you stay here for a minute? I want to talk to you. And my girlfriend's like, what do you want to talk to him about? And he goes, it's between me and Austin. Like, please just like go to your room or something. I'll be up in a sec. And she goes, okay. And she walks upstairs, and I'm left alone with her mom and her dad. And before her dad says anything, her mom just speaks up and is like, Austin, I'm so sorry about last night. Like, that was so inappropriate of me. Like, it'll never happen again. And I was like, hey, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. And then her dad speaks up. He's like, no, Austin, it's not fine. Like, that was super immature of her and, like, not right. Like, you're just a kid. You should not be being offered things like that, let alone from an adult figure. Like, that's just not okay. If you could, please don't tell our daughter about this. Like, please. And I was like, yeah, okay. And he goes, okay, thank you. Like, please don't. I was like, yeah, for sure. Now, listen, I'm usually a pretty loyal dude when it comes to keeping a secret. But my girlfriend's parents were asking me to keep a secret from the girl that I was dating, aka their daughter. And also, I knew their daughter very well, and I knew that she wouldn't care if I told her. So yeah, I kind of went upstairs like 5 minutes later and snitched on them immediately. I whispered in her ear and just told her everything. And she started laughing. She thought it was hilarious, and she knew that her mom did acid before. So like, she didn't even care. She thought it was mad funny and asked me if I did it with her. And I was like, no, I didn't. And she's like, oh, okay. And she didn't care. We went on with our day after that. Nothing else happened. I don't know, maybe her parents were nervous, like about being embarrassed or something by the whole story. But clearly their daughter did not care at all. But yeah, guys, after that, nothing else too awkward or crazy happened between me and her parents. That was literally it. And that's where that story time ends. I thought it was a pretty funny one, pretty crazy one. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed this story time, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.